It may be 100 degrees in Phoenix, but it's even hotter in here. It's the PHNX Suns live show brought to you by the DraftKings
say those things
Sportsbook
just
app.
to see what kind of reaction I will give you.
That is exactly why I do it. We are brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 rated.
Did you just
sportsbook
K-Ray
app.
that intro? I think you did.
It's a dry heat, Saul.
You just K-Rayed that intro.
He's Saul Bookman. He's Gerald Bourguet. I am Espo. It is a Friday fun day, so we gave Lindsey the day off. So I got Saul there.
Oh, that's cold-blooded, man.
Lindsey's got the day off. We're just hanging out here talking some Suns basketball, and we're going to talk the best moments of the 2021-2022
We've had 2 weeks
season.
of negativity.
We did. We got to bring some positive. There were some fun things that happened this year, and we're going to take a walk down memory lane, and to do so, we're going to do it in bracket style.
I guess we can make sure that Amari Stoudemire doesn't have to turn his back on the team anymore. There you go.
Ouch. All right, well, guys, let's just hop into it. Let's get into this first region. Let's throw that up on the screen. We have 4 regions. That's the way this works. 16 moments. This is the asserting dominance region, which obviously does not have any playoff moments in it. No, too soon. Too soon.
We just said we were trying to thrive in positivity today, and you already shit on it in the first 2 minutes.
Well, of course. I mean, it's me. So let's look at the #1 seed versus the #4 seed here. The #1 seed was the Suns' all-time best winning streak, and this is versus Chris Paul's nutmeg that we saw against the Houston Rockets early in the season. Gentlemen, which of these two was the better moment to you this year?
I mean, it's obviously the win streak. I mean, it's a franchise record win streak. It was fun. It was, and that shows dominance. Like, so, yeah. CP3's nutmeg is kind of like,
I mean, it's fun.
You caught somebody
too.
at a bad moment and you got him. Like, okay, cool, but that's not sustained dominance.
Yeah, but that nutmeg too leads right into his mid-range jumper, which is a thing of beauty too. I liked it, but you're right. I'm going to go with the win streak too. Gerald, where are you on this?
Yeah, I'd probably have to go with the win streak. I do think the nutmeg was a cool moment, and he did it to Taurean Prince later in the year also, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, when you do it to Usman Garuba, it's a little bit harder to advance in this bracket up against Suns history and one of the best win streaks in NBA history as well. So yeah, we're going to go with the win streak on this.
I think that's fair. Let's move into that 2-3 matchup. Chris Paul goes for, or actually, I think I was in the wrong region there. The 2-3 here. It's the Lakers' dominance this year in terms of winning the series against them this year, knocking them out of the playoffs in the 64th win of the season, all that came with that and the fun with that. And then the record of being undefeated after leading or heading into the fourth with a lead. 2-3 matchup. Gerald, I'm going to start with you this time. Where you lean on this?
I feel like the undefeated after 3/4 thing is like a fun fact from the season, but it's more just like a cool little trivia tidbit to me. Like really impressive stuff, but like sweeping the Lakers felt really good, eliminating them from the playoffs and earning their franchise record 64th win in that same game. And then like the fact that they haven't lost since that picture of Andre Drummond mocking LeBron James in the finals. They haven't lost to the Lakers since then, preseason or otherwise. So I got to go with the Lakers dominance one.
I just think that the Lakers were such a shitty team that it didn't do anything for me. Every time we beat them, I was like, cool, we beat the Lakers, but they suck. So
But we kicked their ass accordingly, though.
I know, but it was just I like the undefeated after 3 quarters because it shows, that at least in the regular season, it showed how clutch they were and how they rose to the occasion when when they were in tight games. The 5-minute and the crunch time Suns, that was a very real thing for the regular season. So that's kind of the one I'll veer to.
Well, to be fair, we didn't really see any clutch time in the playoffs anyways, so they didn't have a chance to lose that. I enjoyed the undefeated after leading after 3. That was fun. It was a cool storyline. But to me, the moment of the season was the 64th win, coming at the Lakers' expense and eliminating from the playoffs. That was one of the most fun post-game shows we did all year. Mm-hmm. It was just the energy, the excitement, the making fun of the Lakers. Like it was all a lot of fun to me. So
fun that I don't remember it at all.
I don't think you were here for it. That's why.
Really?
I don't think you were. Okay. I think it was just Lindsey and I that night. I don't remember why, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we move into the second round in the asserting dominance bracket, and it's that Suns all-time win streak versus Lakers dominance. I'm going to start on this one. It's the Suns win streak for me, but.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Yeah, I agree.
I wasn't saying I'm the only one that gets a vote.
No, I agree. It's the Suns' all-time win streak. I don't think it's even close.
Oh, see, if we had made it just like the franchise record 64th win, I would have gone with that. But since we're kind of lumping multiple Lakers things into one, I mean, it doesn't matter because that one won.
So you're going to take Lakers dominance.
I would have voted for Lakers. I would have done it.
What? But. Okay.
64 franchise record, man.
Okay,
but
but that just happened to be against the Lakers. 64 is basically separated from that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is we lumped up the 64th win into this Lakers thing.
I honestly don't think it would have been as exciting if it hadn't come against the Lakers and eliminating from the playoffs, because otherwise it was just like, all right, they finally got to that mark, but they've already secured everything else. Let's just get to the playoffs. But I think the fact that you coupled it with beating the Lakers and sweeping them for the season and knocking them out of the playoffs that night, I think that made that even more entertaining from a fan
Feels like
base.
That was the last time we could talk shit.
It felt like the last time we really enjoyed a game too, because even though they won the Pelican series, there wasn't a lot of – you didn't feel overly confident. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then that Mavs series, I mean, you could say after game 2, they're up 2-0. I felt confident
after game 2.
But then everything fell apart. It just got weird. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the last times we could really enjoy Suns basketball, and I could be an ass and yell something I probably never should have yelled during the year. Let's move on to the next bracket here and take a look at what we're up against. This is the memorable performances region, and we're going to look at that 1-4 matchup. It's Cam Johnson's career 38-point game, career high 38-point game and game winner versus the Knicks versus Frank Kaminsky's 31-point game. A night where I was dumb enough to put my body on the line and say I'd get a Frank tattoo if it ever happened again. I obviously knew that it wouldn't, and it didn't, but that was a hell of a fun night too. Why don't you start, Saul?
This is so easy for me.
It's Frank, I know.
Yeah, it's absolutely Cam. 38 points and a game winner. And it felt like at that moment, before we knew that he was hurt, it felt like Cam had kind of arrived. Okay, now Cam is going to be that vital piece that we were missing to take us all the way to the championship. And I think that's why there's so many people that were excited about that game. He basically carried the team on his back. In that contest, but obviously that didn't end up happening. But it's way more significant than a game in month 1 of the season where Frank Kaminsky scores 30.
Well, you're
points.
Damn wrong. I mean, it's
we knew where you were going with this. So.
But let me say this.
You're not going to really honestly try to explain why this is better.
No. Yeah, I'm going to explain it.
He's going to try and do his best.
And I'm going to win.
This is fraudulent.
With this. I'm going to dominate in my thought process here.
Okay.
Look, Cam's felt like finally Cam Johnson did what we were hoping he would do. Frank Kaminsky's game was, holy shit, how the hell did this happen? This is unbelievably entertaining and totally unexpected. And it's one of those sports things that you probably 2 or 3 years from now won't remember Cam Johnson scoring 38, but somebody go, remember that really weird-ass game where Frank Kaminsky dropped 31?
Did you take OGs before the show again?
No, I'm
There's
not
no
Saul
way.
Bookman.
Dude, in 2 years, I will never, ever remember that Frank Kaminsky scored 31 points in a game. I know, because you absolutely loved him. Oh, my God.
You.
Let it go. There's no way that's
Gerald,
better.
Look, I'm going to remember
Join
both.
the dark
Just
side.
go ahead and move it over
I'm
there,
gonna remember
Shane.
both. Frank Kaminsky's game was fantastic. It came out of nowhere. It was fun. And I, listening to him talk in the press conference about how hard he worked to get to that point was really cool. But like, it's Cam. Like it's Cam. He had 38 points. He hit 9 of 12 from 3, which tied a Suns franchise record. And then he hits the game winner on a night where Julius Randle got up in his face, where he got a dead leg. Like
This is the equivalent.
That's a remarkable performance.
This is the equivalent of Reggie Miller's parents. Like him coming home from his first varsity game and he scored like 60 points and was excited about it. And he was like, "Oh my God, I scored 60!"
Yeah,
and his parents were like, "Well, that's nice. Your daughter, your sister just scored 100." Like that's what the Frank Kaminsky CJ argument is.
I agree. Cam Johnson was not impressive, and Frank was totally impressive.
Move it over. We
suck.
advance.
Yeah, we got this.
You suck.
The Cove is closed for a
Frank,
reason.
we'll see you back next year.
We love Frank. We hope.
Let's move to that 2-3 matchup. It's CP3 going 14 of 14 in Game 6 versus the Pelicans, setting an NBA record. And then the 3 seed DA versus Cat, and the too small motion when Minnesota was up big and they wound up blowing that game. So where are we? Gerald, you start this one.
Yeah, these were both really fun moments for me because the CP3 one was in the playoffs, and that was, unfortunately, we didn't know it at the time, but kind of the beginning of the end in terms of his workload. But like, he took 14 shots and made them all. He was incredible against his former team in a playoff setting, and with Devin Booker still not being 100%. Like, that was an incredibly dominant performance. The DA one was too, because we've been talking for years. There's been those, Suns fans that have wanted to trade DA for Cat. And so when they go head to head and DA drops, I think it was a career high 35 on Cat, and Cat had a good first half, and then he dunked on Jay Crowder, and then he did the too small thing. And I think he scored like 3 points the rest of the way. Like, that was really fun. I'm going to go with the DA versus Cat one on this one, just because that game completely flipped as soon as Cat started running his mouth, and that was really cool to watch.
This is going to sound really bad.
What?
I've never been so underwhelmed by a 14 for 14 game before. Like,
what?
Let me explain. Let me explain. If you were watching that game, and I was at a wedding and I was watching that game on my phone. If I didn't see stats that told me that CP3 was 14 for 14, the way like every ball was just kind of like it seemed like seemingly hit like every part of the rim and the backboard on every single shot. It was just like the ugliest 14 for 14 you could ever see. Pretty because we won, but still, like,
he had a couple that bounced in. I'll give you that, but not like all of them.
I mean, like, listen, like, it looked like, the struggle bus was there in the fourth quarter, and he was just getting it over the rim. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, like, obviously, I'm a DA stan anyway, and I like DA. This is ultimately the matchup that is so like, yeah, but. It's the but matchup, 14 for 14, but we got housed in the next round. Who cares? 28 points and dominated, but like he couldn't really repeat it later on. Like, so I'll just go ahead and go.
I'm going to
go with CP3.
What happened to the
I'm going to go with CP3.
Oh, he is going with CP3.
I'm going to go with CP3 because 14 for 14 in the playoffs is nothing to slouch at, and I'm not trying
to.
It
was in a deciding game.
And was it? No,
it was game 6.
Was it game? It was game 6. Yeah. Because because Devin Booker was there. Yeah.
So you went DA.
I went DA, and he went CP3.
What world am I freaking living in?
I know,
the multiverse of
madness. We'll get into that in the show too. But I'm very, very confused, and now I don't know which way to go. You guys got me shook. Saul made a really good argument against CP3, which was my feel on it, and then went with him. And I'm very floored.
Playoffs, man. Playoffs.
I feel like that DA Cat moment was a perfect example of this team this year and over the last 2 years where somebody disrespects them and then they took it to them. Like it was I took that personally and they went that route. That said, it is tough to ignore the fact that a guy goes 14 for 14 in a deciding game, but I'm going to go with DA because I did love that game so much, and it was kind of the epitome of what I thought of with this team where, that entire Pelican series was underwhelming and kind of was a preview of what was to come. So
fair.
So now we've got...
You guys are making this so hard. You guys go one way completely, and I'm like, okay, I'll put this over here, I'll move this there, and then all of a sudden it's just like, wah!
First world producer problem. Cam Johnson's 38 and game winner against the Knicks, the 1 seed versus the 3 seed, DA versus Cat, too small.
No brainer.
Same here.
It's Cam.
It's Frank Kaminsky. No, we'll go with it is Cam. You're 100% right. It's Cam, and without a doubt. So we will move on to the next region. We'll see Cam in that Final Four when we get there. Oh, by the way, to the chat talking about where was Sticks dunking on Plumlee. Is there not an Indiana Pacers show you guys can talk about Sticks on? I mean, I love you guys, but come on.
It's
like, get over your ex already. It's not happening.
It was
right?
An honorable mention.
We
only had room for 16 moments.
I'm sitting here after salivating over Frank telling them to get over their ex. All right, I understand your love for a big man that's not here anymore. It's time for the off-court region. Is this where Sticks Kids comes up? The song? No,
that's in the worst moments of the season.
We'll get to that.
And that's
bracket.
the 1 seed.
That's the not top 10.
That's the 1 seed over losing to Dallas. That's a 2 seed. Yep. All right, well, let's get into this. Let's look at the 1 seed in this region here. It's McHale memes, just in general, the many faces and ridiculous things that Mikal Bridges did this season versus the number 4 seed, I'm just going to say it, the fuck Jay Crowder shirts that came out after the chant in New Orleans, and Devin Booker and Jay Crowder wearing them in the post-game press conference. Where are we going?
I mean, Mikhail's memes are just on another level this year. They were really good, and there were so many of them. We're showing probably one of the more iconic ones right now on the screen, but it's hard. The fuck Jay Crowder thing was hot for a hot second, and then it kind of faded away, and it didn't really carry over. It wasn't like
right.
I really thought that the fans were going to start to chant "fuck Jay Crowder" at home games. And I was honestly, I was actually kind of rooting for it because I was so sick of that stupid ass Suns and 4 chant that I thought that this was going to replace it, but it didn't.
Let's be fair. They got close to chanting that just out of anger in the Dallas series.
He was actually good in the Dallas series.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Just to relieve anger in general. It's got to be Mikal. Look, if they had made it further in the playoffs, I think that moment would have probably resonated a bit more, felt a little bit better. But when it comes in such a disappointing playoff run, it's like, okay, great. It was entertaining 2 days. Let's move on. Jay made some money off the merch, but Mikal memes
$50 for that damn shirt.
Yeah,
the Mikal memes will live forever.
Yo, I'm
you
happy
look at that
he
shirt
signed
and
it.
be like,
I was lucky that I got one of the ones that he signed because apparently he didn't sign them all.
No,
like there were some people that got that shirt that were not signed.
Because I saw it, I was there when it happened. Like Devin Booker had Jarrett Jack go into the stands where there was that box of shirts that some fans had brought. They had made them and brought them and set them and left them there. So Book was like, go grab those shirts. So Jarrett Jack got the box, and there was like a limited number in there. So the ones that he signed were like the originals from the box.
I got an original.
Oh, I didn't realize
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, because I got it in the mail, and I was like, and I opened it up, and it was signed. And I was like, and yeah, it is a Gildan shirt. It's like a really cheap cotton shirt, like something that you would just go get screen printed really quick.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, it's signed. And then I saw on Twitter that like a lot of fans did not get one that was signed.
I think that's what it is. I don't know how many were in that box though. So it could just be he signed some and got tired.
Oh, I'm absolutely
hang it in the bar.
I'm hanging it in my new office.
Hang it in the bar.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really cool shirt, and it was awesome that they wore the shirts to their post game press conference. But the McHale memes that we got this year, there were so many of them, and they're going to last a lifetime. Like,
yeah,
we're going to be using these for the next 5 years. So
all right, let's move on to the next matchup here. It's the 2 seed Cam and McHale, the lemonade stand bet from the Super Bowl, and then versus the 3 seed Bismack's Hospital, which, if you don't remember, he's donating money donating his entire salary to build a hospital in his home country. This one's tough.
Yeah,
no, it's easy for me.
If I'm just looking at the bet that Cam and McHale made on the lemonade stand for the Super Bowl, I loved it. It was fun. McHale actually retweeted our graphic that we sarcastically put Cam in the lemonade stand. Like, that was fun. When the team got involved and it almost felt like it became commercial, that's when I had a problem.
And that's my thing, is like this, and it was supposed to be you had to go to the opposing team city and do the lemonade stand, which I think, in hindsight, if Cam had to go to LA and do a lemonade stand in LA somewhere, I think that, to me, that would have been just a bigger deal than doing it here locally, right? But because the team got involved and they kind of commercialized the hell out of it, it just kind of lost its kind of lust for me. So, and then also, whenever you're giving something back to your own community or your own country, the way Bismack did, how can you say no to that? Like, that's tangible, visual evidence that something is happening for the good of humanity in that situation. And I know the money went to Phoenix Suns charities, but it's hard for me to sit here and be like, okay, but what charity? How did that directly affect somebody? I want to see this. It's so that visual, kind of touch point, if you will. That's why I lean towards Bismack.
Yeah, and it's in honor of his father, and we also did get some funny comments in the Dallas series after the whole in the tunnel thing. He joked about wanting to put his first patient in the hospital he's building. Like, there were moments with that. I'm gonna vote Bismack's Hospital. I think it's a cool moment. It has meaning. It will last forever in his home country. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed covering the lemonade stand. It was cool to see other players show up and support them, and they had fun with it, and a ton of Suns fans came out, like a ton, and that was cool to see. But when they started selling the lemonade at the arena for like a profit,
none of it went to charity.
What are we doing here? So, and like,
and that went away real quick.
Yes, and like I've said, with Bismack's Hospital and telling us about his dad, his motivation, and just giving us a peek into who he is as a human being. You don't get that from athletes very often. I don't think I've ever been in a media scrum with any player that left all of us just kind of speechless at the end of it. And then writing the story afterwards was one of my favorite stories I wrote all season. So I got to go with that one.
Shameless plug. You can read that at gophnx.com if you become a member.
Also, real quick, Sly, you're in the chat. I appreciate, we got a package from you. Some shoes he sent to Lindsey and I. I think they're for Lindsey.
Size 10?
I do not.
Yeah, either do I. So, but that's all good. Sly, hit me up in my DMs. Let's chat.
That's nice.
We're gonna display really cool. them on the next live show. We'll put them on the table. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's
all right. Cool. I was gonna do it anyways. I don't care. So, McHale memes versus Bismack's Hospital. As much as I love helping your home country, I got to go with memes. In general, I love me some good memes.
Memes over the good of humanity.
Yes,
this is the topic.
I mean, that's
putting me in
that's
a real
the most
big
American thing ever is memes over hospitals, right? I mean, I'm gonna go with it just simply because having been a former social media
some really
guy,
don't look up vibes right here.
Right.
Ignore the world. Let's laugh at McHale making an ass of himself. There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the memes too. It feels
damn straight you are.
It feels wrong, but like,
Doesn't everything though?
No, it's the one. It was the ones like it was so far reaching. I feel like not enough people heard about the Biombo Hospital thing.
All right. Well, I guess I'm off the hook. I'm going to go with Bismack because
you
have to go with the purity of someone's soul over, a nice little viral moment. So,
when I think purity of someone's soul, I think Saul Bookman.
Thank you. That's why I went with Bismack.
Let's move on to the next region as we careen towards the Final Four here. It's the Booker region. Of course, Devin is going to have 4 moments that we have to debate about.
Gosh. Of course, Gerald put this all together.
Whoa.
There's no way.
Whoa. We all decided on the 16 moments. I just divided them up into regions that made sense. And there were 4 Booker moments. So
we had a DA region, but we thought it might break the internet. So we went with the Booker region.
It was too up and down. Too soon? Too soon? Okay.
So let's look at that Booker region and start
Coda
debating.
Kid is going to be so upset that there's no DA region. Coda, I'm on your side, man. I don't understand what happened here.
Was there even a DA?
You were here for these
Hold on a
meetings.
second. Was there a DA moment at all in this?
There was one. There was
The
the
too small.
cat.
Oh, the too
performance,
small.
yes,
Okay,
'cause
yes.
He
There was-
did clown
There was
cat in that game.
one. If they had won the Dallas series, dunking on Luka would have been the moment of the year, I think. But he did it in that terrible last game, so it didn't make the list. So let's look at the Booker region.
Yeah.
The 1 seed. I can't read that because
It's
my eyes.
MVP chance. It's when he dropped 49 on the Denver Nuggets
That's right.
on the night when MVP talk was at its peak with him, and he got MVP chance in Denver.
That was the night we demanded an MVP shirt for Devin Booker. I remember.
Yes.
Now. Versus the 4 seed Luka Special. Yeah. We know where this is going. If anybody says Luka Special, I mean, you're a masochist. So I'm saying Luka Special. No, I'm kidding. It's got to be the MVP chance.
Well, if you hate Suns fans, you're definitely going to pick Lucas Special.
I mean,
yeah,
look, again, if they had won that series, that's a moment that we look at and we think is great and hilarious, but it's not funny in hindsight.
No, it actually backfired quite big after that, and so you got to go with number 1. It's the easy pick, right?
And that was a really cool performance, just even without taking into account how bad its competition is in this bracket. Like, that was really bizarre. Like, that was in Nikola Jokic's house, the guy who went on to win the MVP for the 2nd year in a row, and Book just dropped 49 on him and carried them in that
in a
game.
hostile environment.
Yeah.
Because Denver fans
Yes.
hate Devin Booker.
Yep.
Hate him with a passion.
Yeah, we didn't do anything to really help that.
No, absolutely.
We kind of lit that fuse and said, "We're sorry, Devin. You've got to deal with it."
We literally had a Nuggets fan create the MVP shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
D-Line.
Oh, yeah, we did.
TBR. Poor.
Love you, buddy.
poor Eric. Let's move on to the 2-3 matchup in this region and take a look at it. First off, though, Elon Musk with the 199 super chat as Shane makes me have a seizure by making it appear and disappear on our screen. Elon here, my favorite Cam buzzer beater. That'll be in the Final Four.
So
We already
it is in the Final
voted
Four.
on that. So let's look at the 2-3 in the Booker matchup here. It's Booker versus the Raptor is the 2 seed, and the 3 seed is Booker's baby fist bump.
Ooh.
This is tough, but I think it's kind of straightforward, honestly. Like, the Booker versus the Raptor thing, he took so much crap for that afterwards. It kind of became an annoyance to me, like, pretty quickly on. Like, people tried to make it into an actual thing, like he doesn't like getting double teamed in pickup. Like,
Well,
the baby fist bump, like, backfired too, but it was a cool moment. Like, and it went viral. Like,
Hold
right
on,
away.
you're voting for the baby fist bump?
I'm voting for the baby
My
fist
God,
bump.
it stole Devin Booker's powers, and then CP3 fist bumped another baby and lost his powers right after. The baby fist bump
Y'all
is what
are-
killed this team. We can't figure it out because the babies did this. They cursed the Suns. You can't vote baby fist bump. It's an inflatable raptor mascot. All the insanity of that is the only way we can go because that that didn't cost us anything. The baby fist bump cost us everything.
You sound like the living embodiment of that meme of, I think it's Charlie Day, where he's like pointing at the board. And there's all these strings connecting things that don't belong together. That's what you sound like right now.
So you're going with Booker versus the Raptor?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
Yes. Damn, baby fist bump could have been the coolest moment in Suns history, but it became one of the worst.
I think the Raptor thing was kind of cool just because it was like, you know, people were looking at it we were laughing about it.
Mm.
Everybody else was like, oh, how petty is he? And blah, 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 blah,
Right.
which honestly, Suns fans kind of fuel off of, you know, they
they
like,
do.
I think Suns fans secretly like to be hated on just so they can retaliate as much as possible and tell you, I told you so. But Booker baby fist bump was one of those moments where as soon as you saw it,
Yeah.
you were like, oh shit,
Yeah.
here it goes. Like, and it was everywhere. So, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Booker baby fist bump
Of
because I
course
don't
you
like
will.
babies.
Oh.
I don't hate babies.
Oh, come on. Really? That kid's going to grow up to be a Lakers fan. That's how this is going to happen, right? That's how evil that whole
kid has a
situation
picture
was.
for the rest of his life is signaling that there is only one team for that kid moving forward. It is only going to be
There's
Suns.
no way.
This is some
There's
total,
no way he's not a Suns fan.
total complete horse crap. It's Devin Booker and the Raptor. It's not him fist bumping the baby.
It was so overplayed.
He's so upset about this moment advancing.
Anyway, moving on. So the
The
number
one-
1 seed versus the number 3 seed. I don't give a shit if Espo doesn't like it. We still got to go.
Booker, his 49 points in the MVP chance against the Nuggets versus whatever that abomination is in the bottom, the baby fist
Baby
bump.
fist bump.
You guys are going to vote baby fist bump just to
I'm
F
not
with me
necessarily.
here.
I'm gonna go with the 49 points. That was one of the best individual performances of the season, if not the best, considering all the chatter that was going on at the time. And I was there for it, so it holds extra meaning for me because that was cool to watch in person.
Oh, you want me to go next? I mean, you could cement this because obviously you're not going Booker baby fist bump, right?
Oh, that's right.
I want
You
to hear
should-
what you're going to do.
Oh,
Well, I'm going to go with Booker's 49 points.
Okay, so you're not an ass. I'm going to pull the heel and go, baby fist bump. No,
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I mean, it didn't matter.
Let's go with the MVP chance.
I had to
It's
steal your
definitely
thunder,
that.
so I was like, fuck it.
so we've got our final four then, correct?
Yeah, you guys host the rest of this. You guys have,
He's so mad at this baby that did nothing wrong.
I am the two babies, the one that fist bumped Chris Paul, too.
Tisdu, why isn't Cam's game on here? Did you already explain? If you're talking about Cam Johnson's game winner, we have that in the final four.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was in the first region. He
And
won that
Monica,
region.
have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us on early after you get off of work.
Yes, thanks, Monica.
Let's take a look at our 1 seed or the first matchup, 2 1 seeds. It's Devin Booker scores 49 in Denver with the MVP chance, and then Cam Johnson's 38 points in the game winner against the Knicks.
That's a tough
That's
one.
tough.
That's real
That's
tough. We got probably the two best individual performances of the season.
Yeah.
Or at least most memorable.
You know, I'm kind of surprised we didn't have CP3's performance
Which one?
against the Pelicans, where he just basically owned the whole fourth quarter.
Which one?
We had one of
31
those.
points in game one. Game one.
I mean, he did like. I went with the
Or that
most
he cooked
recent
Luka in
because he
game
did
2.
drop 31 in game 6 also.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to go. Oh, man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Booker 49 in Denver because for a split second, it felt like he might actually have a chance at MVP. I know he didn't. I know that. But when you had guys like Stephen A. Smith finally coming around saying, dude, like this guy should have gotten a lot more love all season than he's been getting. And mostly the thought is that, oh, well, this is because Chris Paul is making him better. Or, those two are neutralizing each other out or canceling each other out. But in this game, it was Devin Booker. There was no Chris Paul. Chris Paul didn't play in that game. So it was just like, how can you not see what's happening and what he's doing to destroy this other MVP-led team? And so for a split second, I thought Book might have a chance. So I'm going to go with that one.
I'm going Cam Johnson.
I knew you would.
Because, well, we've come to expect those kind of moments from Booker. but in the moment, the Cam Johnson game felt like finally we've got the guy we've been waiting for. This is his coming out party. He's going to be a key part of this. He's fully healthy finally. He's hit his stride. I mean, it only lasted for an hour until we found out he was hurt.
Yeah.
But that felt like something for me that was a moment that had additional excitement because it was unexpected.
I will say that Cam Johnson's game winner might have been the peak individual moment of the season.
The most exciting for sure.
Yeah, because I think it was their only game winner, and it was in such a heated game for Cam and for the entire arena because they hated that Knicks team for what they were doing to Cam in that game. And he went 9 for 12 from 3. Like, that's incredible. But a lot of those threes, like, you watch them back and it's like, what were the Knicks doing? They were just leaving one of the best shooters in the NBA alone. They were trying everything to throw at Booker in that Denver game and could not stop him at all. And I get that, like, Cam Johnson's was more unexpected and the game winner makes it, like, really fun, but I tend to lean more in, like, towards a dominant performance from start to finish. And that Denver win, they wanted that one really bad. Like, the arena wanted it, the players wanted it, the MVP chatter at the time wanted it, and Booker just put them all to bed. Like, I'm going to go with that one.
Thank you to Coda Kid, Tizdu, and R in the chat, who all are on the right side of history, saying that it should be Cam Johnson's winner. So let's look at the bottom half of the bracket. It's Mikhail Memes versus Suns' all-time win streak.
Ugh.
There's like two just random categories against each other. It's tough.
Look, I'll start.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go Mikhail Memes because it has lasting power. You're going to see those show up in games and on the internet in perpetuity, right? The only time we'll hear about that Suns all-time win streak is if they get close to it ever again. It was fun, but honestly, I couldn't tell you anything overly specific about the win streak other than they won a lot of games in a row after they sucked to start the season. I feel like that's going to slowly fade from memory. The Mikhail Memes are going to be around forever.
Go ahead, Gerald.
I kind of tend to agree. I feel like if you asked the average Suns fan what the win streak was, they might not be able to tell you the exact number. And it was 18 for the record. But like the Mikhail Memes, we're going to be using those over and over, and we're going to be getting new ones every year that he remains in Phoenix. So I don't know. It's tough to. He's so memeable. He's like the most memeable player in the NBA right now. So I'm going to go with Mikhail.
I would have leaned more towards Suns' all-time win streak just because, like, the memes are cool, but, let's just say, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what if Mikhail gets traded?
Yeah.
Then those memes are useless, and they're useless forever for us. Yeah. So, the all-time win streak will be relevant until it is broken again, and you just know, especially next year, it'll get mentioned several times just because, talking points are talking points for broadcasts. So I would probably lean more towards the all-time win streak, but I don't feel strongly about it.
In the end, the win streak was meaningless too.
Oh yeah, well I mean,
if we're gonna do that,
in the end, all of this is meaningless. I don't know what the hell we're doing here.
But we're trying to remember.
And welcome back to the darkness, my friend.
We're trying to remember the best moments, not the most memorable. Because if that's the bracket, it would be the Game 7, as Mikhail Alviar. Sorry, I couldn't read that for a second. Said in the chat.
So you know what's exciting?
What's that?
Championship games. You know what's exciting to do when there's a championship? Bet some damn money on it, and that's what you can do with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, as the NBA playoff action is nonstop at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on any team to win. Yeah, that's right. $5 on any team to win, and they're going to get $150 in free bets if they do. If you're looking to turn a small bet into a big payday during the NBA playoffs, use them same-game parlays. You can do that even if you're not a new customer. It's one of my favorite ways to bet on any game is to add multiple legs to a same game parlay. And if you do that right now, you can get a free bet back up to $25 if one leg of your bet doesn't hit. Again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code PHNX. If you're a new customer, you're going to get $150 in free bets if you bet $5 on any team to win, and they do in the NBA. Not that many of them left. There's only 3 teams left to make that bet on, but make sure to use that promo code PHNX. 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Let's get to the championship in our best thing about this season, Suns bracket. It's Booker's 49 in Denver and the MVP chance versus Mikhail Memes. Not a real fair finals matchup.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Book 49 MVP chance. Yeah, it was the best performance of the season, I feel like.
I'm going to go Mikhail Memes.
Okay, mixing it up.
You argued against it. And then you're like, screw it. Chaos.
No, because listen, if we're not going to have an all-time performance an all-time performance by a team get recognized, then fuck an individual. Let's go Mikhail Memes.
Well, damn, you make a pretty convincing argument. If nothing really matters, we should go with the energy, right? I'm going to go with Mikhail Memes.
There we go, baby. Mikhail Memes for the win. Let's go.
And that is the best thing about the Suns season. This is the one thing that doesn't remind me of crippling disappointment.
Memes.
Right? Memes.
Man, this turned masochistic
it
real
brought
quick.
joy, right? You think of the MVP chance, you go, well, where was that MVP guy in the playoffs?
Don't say you all should be ashamed of yourselves. I absolutely battled for the Suns' all-time win streak. I'm not the bad guy here. It's these two. These two right here.
The win streak was at the beginning of the season, and
They
it was
still
like
were undefeated in November.
I would put
Great!
I would put a
Be
franchise.
undefeated in the summer.
I would have put winning the 64th game ahead of the win streak. Like, are we gonna really remember the win streak aside from when another
No.
team in the future approaches the win streak?
No,
When do you ever talk about all-time NBA win streaks anyway, unless it's the Lakers or the Heat?
I was just about to say the Lakers.
Yeah, that's it. And they had like 33 in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
not even
it
close
wasn't
to
the
that.
league record. It was a team record.
Yeah, so that's like cool. You beat the best Suns teams in the past, and they have 54 years of history. That's cool, but like,
Yeah, I'm going to file that shit
I like
deep
it.
in my brain and never access it until they're at 16 wins and go, 2 more to tie the all-time record. That's the next time I'll think about that.
yeah.
So I guess congratulations, Mikhail. You won.
Your memeable face is the best part of this season.
I
You
mean,
being
In a
a meme.
season where they won 64 games.
Hey,
I mean, honestly, like
nothing really matters.
It's not that foolish, really, to be honest
It
with you.
really
Oh,
isn't.
man.
Oh, all right. Well, guess what, guys?
What?
It's time to spin that beautiful wheel.
What? I thought you guys had another
It's-
segment
yeah,
going on.
we're gonna do it, and then you can leave. So
Fuck
we can
you.
so let's
no,
spin
no,
the beautiful
no.
wheel.
If I
We
win,
gotta
I'm still
send him-
leaving. I'm not
spin that
doing this.
wheel.
We
We're
got to
gonna-
send him off the proper
Yeah,
way.
like, look, if you just want us to do the next segment, so it's just Gerald and I that have to
Yes,
face
that's
the wheel.
1,000,000%
And
my
screw
plan.
you, Saul
That was
Bookman.
exactly
That
my
ain't
plan. I was like, oh, this is
happening.
going to be awesome. I can leave. I don't have to worry about this shit. Let's
That
go.
is not happening. We're going to
God
spin
damn it.
that
I just know
wheel
it's going to be me.
with you here. Now I'm hoping that the producer rigs it, that it is you.
No,
That you throw the
Shane.
big fit
Hold
up
on
there.
1 second. I have to rig it.
Shane, you can do
Somebody,
it.
Tisdu says slime him. All right.
Slime.
Is this super sloppy double dare now? Or
I missed
so
that
we're
show.
gonna. I think they should.
That would be
I
a
would
fun
like
show
an
to bring
adult
back.
version of that show.
An adult, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, where you can bring. Fun fact about that show: Mark Summers, the host,
Mhm.
total.
Oh, that was
germaphobe-
Gerald. That was Gerald.
It's on.
That
was
was
it?
Gerald.
Hey, it's
That
on.
was Gerald.
That
I saw
wasn't
that.
on
Hold
screen.
on,
That was
hold
on
this is
the.
bullshit.
Hold on
Oh,
now.
Did
this
it
is
ever appear
bullshit.
on screen
Hold on
because it
now.
has to show up on the
this is
live show?
bullshit. Oh my gosh.
He's testing it. Mark Summers actually is a germaphobe and hated touching anything messy, and was on the messiest show on
That's
television.
the worst job you could have if you're a germaphobe.
I thought that was the craziest fact about the 90s. I ever
Okay,
heard.
it's time to spin that wheel.
It's
All
the
right.
wheel of ad roulette. Let's do it. Let's see
It
if
was on
Lindsey
Gerald,
comes up.
damn it.
I'll
It
do
was
it.
on Gerald.
Not me.
Yeah! Woohoo! Suck it, you
I
two.
hate this stupid
Saul
wheel. This
Bookman
is rigged.
out.
See ya.
Let's
All
find out. Don't you want to find out what Gerald has to
yeah.
do
What am I
next?
butchering today?
What is he scaring people with today? Let's look.
If it's one he's
Wherever
done
the
before,
wheel
we gotta
ends,
switch it
you
up.
don't
What I'm
know.
doing?
Yeah, oh geez. Oh,
What is it?
what do we got?
Soccer play-by-play.
Oh gosh.
Dude, you can blame Espo for that.
I didn't pick that one. You can blame Jacob for that.
I don't even know what that means.
So here is one. Whoa, that was one of the worst camera cuts we've ever had in show history. Very close. We almost saw the full Bookman.
So
Gerald,
can you
is
elaborate soccer play-by-play? Is that really fast or really slow?
fast
and
with the long
No,
goal?
it's up and down. It's like, and he's moving it to the midfield. He's moving it there. He's passing it, and then it's like, ba 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 ba.
Okay, and then rattle it off.
You
Okay.
say that's
so I need to build
build to
build
it.
the tension as we
Yes.
go. All right.
Am
Am I doing
much like your
OGs?
weekend.
Is that what I'm doing?
You're doing OGs, yes.
All right. Well, stop by your local dispensary and grab some amazing Scratchmate THC gummies from our friends at OG's. Different flavors like blackberries and cream and watermelon. Perfect if you're in the mood for an uplifting sativa or a chill indica. If you're interested in trying the amazingly delicious variety of brands that OG's Brands has to offer, go to ogsbrands.com. That's OGEEZ brands.com to find OGs near you.
Goal! That was great,
I think
Gerald.
I peaked too early there, but
you did.
I had much more text to read
Hey,
afterwards than I thought.
in typical Sun style, it's okay.
Oh, no.
That was spectacular, Gerald. And
All
you know what else is spectacular? The last segment, because it's just you and I, and we're
Yes.
going into one of our favorites. It's time for G-Rated, and today we're looking at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Just be aware, if you haven't seen it, get the hell out now, because we're going to spoil a lot of shit, I have a feeling.
Yes.
Gerald, what were your initial takeaways on this movie?
I liked it. I saw people like really either really liked it or they didn't at all. Like I saw some people say they walked out of the theater like 45 minutes in, and I was
What?
like, it's not that different. And I liked it because it was different from most Marvel movies. It was definitely a Sam Raimi film for sure.
Which made it fun.
Yeah, like I liked that it pushed the boundaries of kind of that PG-13 rating a little bit with some of its horror and
Little gore. you know.
oh my god, like that was we'll talk about that scene,
Yeah.
because that deserves its own spotlight. But I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was Marvel needs more films that kind of differentiate and aren't the standard superhero fare.
I have a theory as to why some people didn't like it.
Okay.
Those are the people that did not commit to watching the Disney Plus
WandaVision.
series. WandaVision,
Mhm.
What If.
Mhm.
Like you look at that and those all tie in heavily.
Mhm.
Like my wife watched everything but What If. She wasn't into the cartoon
Right.
thing, right? So some of it didn't have the connections that it made. I think some people thought that that was the Doctor Strange from the universe we've seen
Right.
so far too, which it wasn't. He was in, what did they say, Universe 838 and we're 616.
Mhm.
How they've come up with all that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so I think some of that too, that it was kind of
Mhm.
missed in terms of that. But I thought it was the most chances a Marvel movie has taken in this entire run. It was on par for me with the second Captain America Winter Soldier, where that was like a
Okay.
spy thriller.
Mhm.
This was a horror movie. I like that we have this concept of these are all the same universe, but it's a multiverse. There's these different things. And I like that these films can have different feel
Mhm.
to them and what genre they fit in. And look, I thought character development was really good in this. You get surprise people that show up
Mhm.
in
You
this
do.
in terms of it. I mean, they will say now Fantastic Four and X-Men are part of the Marvel
Mhm.
cinematic universe, which is huge because those are series that came over in the Fox purchase, and now we know that those will be rolled in to what's going on in Marvel. I loved what they accomplished. My only thing
Mm-hmm.
it had a Superman versus Batman moment to it.
Okay.
The Martha moment, right?
Which moment?
It was the way that Scarlet Witch, the culmination of things. It wasn't Doctor Strange that really it ended things when it came to Scarlet Witch. It was Scarlet Witch seeing, herself with these kids and herself saying in this alternate universe, basically, I'll take care of them. And she breaks down as a mother. And I obviously, not a mother, I'm a father. It hit my wife differently than it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it very much felt like that moment where Batman and Superman are fighting to the death. And he says, Martha. And all of a sudden, they're like, my mom's name's Martha, too. And the whole thing all de-escalates, right? So that was my only problem.
See, I want to talk about Wanda because there were some differing thoughts out there about her outright villain turn in this movie. Because if you watch WandaVision, at the end, she's still obviously very much a person that's grieving because, she finally accepts that Vision is gone and she releases this town that she has been under her spell and they've been suffering under her watch. And she's also mourning, the loss of 2 kids that technically didn't exist outside of this area, but like, they were still her kids basically in her mind. And at the end of WandaVision in the post credits, you see her messing around with the Darkhold, that evil book, and trying to find an alternate reality where her kids still exist, which is true to the comics. I think she in the comics makes a deal with Mephisto to she sacrifices 2 souls or something to bring her kids to life. But I had mixed thoughts about whether her full villain turn was earned in this movie. I know there are different stages of grief, as we've been talking about as Suns fans for the last couple of weeks. And so maybe she was in the bartering stage, but it did kind of feel like at WandaVision, she had come to at least a point of, yes, I'm still grieving, but I understand what I did was wrong. And then in this movie, she's like, nah, fuck this girl that can leap through multiverses. Like, she's got to die so I can find my kids.
But I differed in that. I thought the movie set it up where you understood that the book could turn good people with intentions of trying to do something that they felt was right into villains.
Right.
And that was really the turn, not that Wanda was the one making the full decision. It was she was corrupted by this dark magic, which I didn't mind that explanation. That one worked for me.
And see, I think that's what I assumed. I don't think it did as good a job making it clear that
That's
the Darkhold was the reason she was walking through these subway areas looking like the chick from The Grudge, like, which was creepy and awesome. But like, I did think there was something they could have tapped into, a more compelling side of how she made that villain turn, rather than a book corrupted another good Marvel hero. Like, I feel like that area of like a good person going bad is something that Marvel doesn't really explore. It's like either you're a hero or a villain. There's very little in between. And Scarlet Witch in WandaVision was kind of like the perfect character to dabble in both. I was kind of hoping that they would more explore her character and make her earn that. But we should talk about the fact that once she did go full villain, which was early on, she was one of the coolest villains or heroes that we've seen in a Marvel movie so far.
Because what you're torn too, because you understand why she's doing this and the hurt and how it can make you so angry and all this. So you felt that, and that's why I think the best villains are the ones where you start to go, well, I kind of understand the point. Like, I think that's what made Heath Ledger's Joker so compelling at the time that movie came out, because you're like, well, he's making some accurate commentary about the world. Right. And I think that's when the villains are at their best. I don't think Marvel's ever had that. I think she was the best villain. And I think we may actually see her again in the future in that, because this is just one of the multiverses that she does it. But she's one of the most powerful beings in all of Marvel, right? So,
and I don't think she's dead by any means. Unless I see a dead body, I'm not believing that she's gone, especially as powerful as she was. But I did want to ask you about that scene, because it was the goriest that I think Marvel has ever gone outside of like Deadpool, which isn't even MCU technically.
Yeah.
She made Black Bolt's head explode on himself. She turned Reed Richards into string cheese. She cut Captain Carter in half.
Yeah, with the shield and all.
With her
blood on
own
the
shield. Like, and then she went inside Charles Xavier's mind and snapped his neck. Like,
Well,
I was like,
was that
"Oh."
in his mind, or was he in her mind? Because he was
Oh, yeah,
trying to
yeah.
pull
So-
Wanda out
Yes.
of the actual Wanda she had taken over in this
That's correct.
multiverse. It tries to pull her out. That was one of the best scenes in a Marvel movie because it
Yeah.
was so unexpected.
Yes.
And it was so Sam Raimi in terms of this was supposed to be a horror movie.
right.
It was supposed to be a dark comedy horror movie in some ways.
Mhm.
And that scene played it to perfection.
Yes.
Right? I loved that because it was so uncomfortable. And everybody's like, oh my God, it's Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
And then they're like, not
It's
anymore.
like, oh,
Like,
shit.
you better find another universe because he ain't in this one anymore. You
Yeah,
know?
she
Like,
ran through the Illuminati real
Yeah.
quick. The only one that survived was the guy from the original Doctor Strange who somehow couldn't climb an 8-foot wall or whatever he was stuck in. But I have seen this comment a couple times in the chat, and I completely agree. Like, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a better multiverse video, but we haven't gotten a chance to talk about Doctor Strange, and we both saw that first. Espo's going to see that at some point. Maybe we'll talk about it in the future. That movie's
Yeah.
phenomenal. I did enjoy this one though, and I feel like because it did something different, and it kind of. My question though is where they're going to go moving forward, because they did some fan service with John Krasinski as Reed Richards, which is what fans have been clamoring for
you know
years.
who that was supposed to be, though?
Who?
Daniel Craig. And he had a
Really?
scheduling conflict and couldn't do it.
Really?
That was supposed to be
That's
Daniel
interesting.
Craig.
So now my question is, okay, in the multiverse, there's all these different realities, right? So does anything that's happening to our heroes in our universe matter as much anymore? How do you make those conflicts still matter when you can just jump to another multiverse where things are totally different or screwed up? And B, does this let Marvel off the hook for a while as far as officially introducing, because like they introduced the mutants and the Fantastic Four here, but when do they get introduced in the universe that we're supposed to care about?
I don't know that they ever do. I think
Right.
this gives them the excuse and the ability to bring them in and say they're part of the universe, but not insert them in these phases that they've already mapped out.
Right.
This is the movie that lets them have creative license in the way DC's just like, well, we kind of gave up on this one united universe and all these things are, we've got 6 different Jokers at once. We might have 3
Right.
Batmen. Like, I think that was a big part of this. One person we didn't talk about, though, that I think becomes a big part of the next phase with Marvel, American Chavez, who I think fantastic performance by her, compelling in. We never, outside of Spider-Man, we never saw a hero trying to understand how to use their powers. I like that we got that. I like the evolution. She's obviously a key going back into the main multiverse too, or the main universe in Marvel. So I liked her as well. We couldn't end this without talking about her.
We can't. And she's going to be key because along with, Ant-Man, how they're able to go into the quantum realm or whatever. And then with Kang the Conqueror, who was introduced in Loki and is probably going to be the main Thanos level villain that we're going to see coming up, that brings them back together for kind of an Avengers style team up. It feels like there are a lot of avenues for them to explore other IP and to introduce mutants and Fantastic Four, but I am curious like what that's going to look like, and like because there have been different variations of certain characters. Like in the Spider-Man, there were 3 different Spider-Men, not all played by the same actor. So was John Krasinski just kind of like a fan service thing, or will we actually see him in a Fantastic Four series? I am interested to find out what they do with that.
Well, they can time travel too, so they could go back in time in that multiverse and bring Krasinski into this. There's
Unstring cheese him.
Yeah, it all just becomes very complicated, and I hope they have a path forward. So, what's your rating? Let's just
And we
go
need to
with it.
shout out because they threw in Charlize Theron at the end.
Oh
in the
yes, that's true.
post-credits,
In the
and
post credits,
that's
she'll be a
Clea,
big
so
part.
that'll be fun. But I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10. I feel like it was a good, not great movie, but I really enjoyed how different it was. I liked the horror. I liked the gore. And Elizabeth Olsen was fantastic. Benedict Cumberbatch too, but like Elizabeth Olsen stole the show, and that was fun.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Elizabeth Olsen. I still think she's one of the main villains in the main universe at some point. So, if you're going to go to the movies this summer, which I highly recommend, a lot of great stuff coming out, even starting this weekend with Top Gun 2, Top Gun Maverick. It's a popcorn film. It's not great movie, I'm sure, but entertaining nonetheless. And if you're going to do that, there's going to be lots of things you can go do summer. Go to the movies, go to pool parties, go to barbecues. You're not going to enjoy beautiful weather here in Arizona, but if you're traveling elsewhere, you can enjoy beautiful weather. And with everything going on, it's all about being safe, being protected. So we recommend you go get that COVID-19 vaccine, as they're free for everyone 5 and older. Those 12 and older are also now eligible for a booster. Visit azhealth.gov for a location near you. That's azhealth.gov/find-vaccine for a location near you. And that is the end of our program for Lindsey Smith, who was off today. You can follow her at Lindsey Smith AZ. For Saul Bookman, who just didn't want to stay around for the nerd talk, you can follow him at Saul_Bookman. You can follow Gerald Bourguet at Gerald Bourguet. You can follow me at Espo. You can follow the show at PHNX_Sons. And remember, enjoy your holiday weekend. Love your family. And have a good one. Ahoy, hoy.
Gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsey, Gerald, Espo. Saul past the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B. Always on the job, my team move like the mob. Turn the beat on, I throw it down like DA on the live. Best combo since KJ, Marley, and Charles. If you squad, just sitting on the chat, get involved.